Hello and welcome to this video on fees and funding for postgraduate students. My name is Beth and I work in our UK student recruitment and outreach team here at BU. In this video, I'm going to go through the loans available to postgraduate students and how you pay them back, building a funding portfolio and the financial support that BU has to offer. So if you are an English resident, you can apply for a postgraduate loan up to a maximum value of £11,222 for January 2021 entry and £11,570 for September 2021 and January 2022 entry. These loans are non-means tested, which means that everyone has access to the same amount of loan regardless of your personal or financial circumstances. This loan is paid directly to you in 3 instalments, and you can then choose to pay your course fees either upfront in full or in parts throughout the year. Please note that for the MSc Adult Nursing and MSc Mental Health Nursing, the postgraduate loan does not apply. These courses come under the undergraduate fees and are therefore eligible for undergraduate student loans. However, you are eligible for postgraduate scholarships, which I'll talk about later. You'll be eligible for this loan if you have been a resident in England for the past 3 years or in Scotland, Northern Ireland or Wales. You should also note that periods of residency that are purely for the purpose of education will not count towards these 3 years. For example, if you chose to study an undergraduate qualification in the UK for 3 years, including distance learning, that would not count towards that residency status. If you suspend your studies, your postgraduate loan payments will stop, and you may get a payment after you've suspended that you are asked to repay straight away. So it's really important that you let us know as soon as you are thinking about suspending your studies. As long as your university has agreed that you can suspend these studies, your postgraduate loan payments will resume when you return to your course. However, if you're suspended for 2 years or more during your course, you'll only get further postgraduate loan payments if you can show you have a compelling personal reason for each period of suspension. The forthcoming UK postgraduate student loan scheme is limited to English students. You can still receive a loan to study a master's in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, but you'll need to ordinarily be a resident in England before you can begin your course. Other parts of the UK are considering postgraduate loan systems for their own students. In fact, proposals have already been published for master's loans in Northern Ireland and Scotland. So for postgraduate research, there are government doctoral loans of up to £26,445 for 2021 entry and up to £27,265 for 21-22 entry. These loans are for UK and EU students who are looking to study a PhD or equivalent postgraduate research programme. And please note that details for students starting in 2021-22 have not yet been released in full by the UK government. Annually, we offer several fully funded PhD studentships, which include a maintenance grant to contribute towards living expenses during the course of your research, as well as a fee waiver for up to 36 months. Associated costs such as for fieldwork and conference attendance will also be met under the studentship. The PhD studentships are open to UK, EU and international students, and candidates for a PhD studentship should be able to demonstrate outstanding qualities and motivated to complete a PhD in 4 years. You must also demonstrate a first-class honours degree or master's degree with distinction or equivalent grade point average and an IELTS academic score of 6.5 minimum for candidates for whom English is not their first language. Okay, so now we've talked about the different types of loans available, I'm just going to talk to you about how you go about paying back this loan. So paying back your loan will only begin when you have finished your course and you're earning over £21,000 a year. The amount you pay back will depend on how much over that £21,000 you are earning. You'll pay back 6% of however much over that threshold you are. So for example, as you can see in this table, for someone earning £23,000 a year, they are earning £2,000 above that threshold, and therefore 6% of that £2,000 equates to around £9 a month for them to repay. This payment will be taken automatically from your pay packet. You repay your loan for a fixed period of 30 years, after which that point, even if you've not paid back the full loan, that will be written off, so some people may not ever repay the full amount. If your income does drop back below the threshold at any time, it still counts within the 30 years and you won't commence repayment until your earnings exceed the threshold again. So say you're on 23,000, but then the following year your income reduced down to 19,000, you would stop payments, but that 30-year clock would still be ticking. If you leave the country, you will need to set up a repayment scheme with the student loans company. An interest rate accrues on the loan from the moment you take it out, and currently this is RPI percentage plus up to 3%. Some students will also have an undergraduate loan to repay alongside your postgraduate loan. This repayment process works in a very similar way. However, the threshold for this loan is slightly higher. So you could be in a position where you're paying back your postgraduate loan, but not your undergraduate loan, or paying both alongside each other. The amount that you repay on an undergraduate loan is also slightly higher, so it's currently 9% of the income over that threshold. So there are a large range of charities, foundations and trusts, both local and national, which provide bursaries to students who need it studying in their field of interest. Many organisations are happy to help. For example, the Royal Society provide grants to more than 1,200 scientists a year. They rarely provide full funding, however, so your tuition fees and cost of living, but these funding sources do often get overlooked. It may be easy to become disheartened when you think of all the students applying for the same grants, but have a think about what makes you stand out, and you've got nothing to lose in having a look at these and seeing if you're eligible. The key here is checking the criteria for all the different funding streams available, and if you are going to apply, writing a really good proposal. There are no standard rules across all of these funding streams on eligibility criteria. For example, the Buchanan Society have an award for people with a specific surname. Some grants may have geographical links or educational requirements. So there's no central application process, but it's really worth researching all of these different funding streams. So two really good sources of information you could try and include the grants register and the directory of grant making trusts. These are widely available in university and local libraries and also online. So some of the better known charities giving fairly hefty awards directly to graduate students include the Panasonic Trust Fellowships and Awards, the Perry Foundation, the Harold Hyam Wingate Foundation, and the British Federation of Women Graduates. District and parish councils may also offer some small awards, particularly for local students that are studying a topic relevant to that area. Some postgraduate students may also have their fees paid for by their employer. This may be part of your continuing professional development, so it's worth exploring if you are currently in employment. In theory, it should be a win-win situation, with you studying for a qualification that will improve your ability to do your job. Your employer benefits from therefore a better qualified, productive and motivated employee. However, in reality, this can sometimes be more complex. So you'd need to convince your employer that the qualification you want to do would be worth investing in. And before signing up, you need to agree with your employer who would pay all the fees or part of the fees, and what allowance you'd get for books, living costs, and how tied to that company you would be on completion of that qualification. You'd also need to think about and discuss what time off you'd need to be entitled for exams and assignments. Another really useful tool is the Alternative Guide to Postgraduate Funding, which offers our students the opportunity to search for additional funding through charities, trusts and foundations. It also provides tools on how to apply for funding and guidance written by students who have successfully gained that funding. Prospective students can access this for free by using a personal email address and using the PIN, which you can see on the slide now, which is 6199. So two other areas of funding available include disabled students allowance for students with disabilities, mental health conditions, long-term health conditions or specific learning difficulties. And for international students who wish to study in the UK, you'll need to head to the UK Council for International Student Affairs website for further information of available funding options. And to conclude, it's really important that you remain proactive, looking for the funding options available to you. Think carefully about your justification for studying your degree to help strengthen your applications, and aim to bundle all of the support available into a portfolio of funding that suits your needs. So we now turn to the most common form of postgraduate funding for most people, which is self-funding. So you may already have savings, but most people fund their studies through working and studying at the same time. This is the reality for a majority of postgraduate students. It is hard work, but it can be done. So part-time work obviously has some really brilliant benefits. It helps to keep your bank balance into the black and boost your transferable skills at the same time whilst you study. Universities are major players in local economies and offer work opportunities on and around campus. So students can find out what's available from job shops or career services, and there are opportunities to work on campus in students' union venues, or for example, becoming a student ambassador working at events such as open days. Recruitment agencies are also a really good source of part-time and temporary contracts. So there's plenty of help available to help you find part-time work. So most universities also provide scholarships, studentships and bursaries and financial support funds. So financial support funds can be an absolute lifesaver if you have suffered a financial problem whilst you're at university. The funds are provided by the government institutions and are available to both full and part-time postgraduate students. Usually funds don't have to be paid back, and even if you submit a request at the start of the academic year and it gets rejected, it may be worth applying later on in the year as well. This money could be used towards cannot be used towards tuition fees, and you will have to provide detailed evidence of your financial situation and explain what course materials, rent, living expenses, and travel costs you need help with. Awards can be anywhere between £100 and £750, and the best starting point is the Student Services Department, who will guide you through your application process. Plus, most universities offer discounts on fees for graduates that come back to study at postgraduate level. So at Bournemouth University, that's a 20% discount on your tuition fees. And all students can choose to pay for their fees in 3 instalments rather than a single sum if that helps with your financial situation. So at Bournemouth University, one of the examples of one scholarship available is our Academic Achievement Scholarship for students who achieve or have achieved a 2-1 or above in their undergraduate degree. This would provide you with a £1,500 fee reduction for January 2021 entry, or a £2,000 fee reduction for September 2021 and January 2022 entry. This scholarship is automatically awarded to you if you meet the eligibility criteria and is available for full-time postgraduate degrees and Masters by Research. Please visit the webpage shown on this slide for full terms and conditions and exceptions and eligibility information on that one. This slide shows the scholarships that may be available to our international students, including a BU Academic Excellence Scholarship, which is similar to the scholarship on the previous slide. And Chevening scholarships are an amazing option for full-time applicants for postgraduate taught courses who are a citizen of a Chevening eligible country at the time of application and who intends to return to that country at the end of your study. You can apply for these online. Deadlines vary by country, but the application window is usually August each year for September entry the following year. And it can include a fee reduction and other allowances, so that's really worth having a look at. If you head to our website that you can see there on the slide, you can see all of the various other scholarships that might be available that are worth having a look at. So we also have scholarships for those students who excel in sport and music. So please do take a look at our scholarship web pages if you think you might be eligible for either of these you can see on the screen. So hopefully this presentation is a good starting point for you to start thinking about funding streams available for you for your postgraduate course. You can of course find more information from our staff at the event today on the chat room function on UniBuddy, or if you contact our future students team anytime using the contact details on this slide, they'll be more than happy to help you with any questions you may have. You can also visit the links on this slide for more information about the various bits and pieces I've talked about in this presentation today. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your event.